We are back. We're live. Yeah, they are playing in my face. But you know what? That's okay. Because that reminds me of the topic that I wanted to talk about today. So, y'all, TikTok is a hater. That's the gist of this whole beginning. If you see a video before this, I started the live, then ended it so that I could start it over again and set the live up on YouTube the right way so that I can not have it restrict my video. So we are at 671 for all my folks. We are growing. Yesterday I was at 670. So we are up one subscriber. There we go. There we go. I'm trying to make sure that it focuses. I got to do like the like the influencer girls. Okay, 671. So let's see if our sticky note's gonna stay up. Is my audio good over here? Cause yesterday I didn't realize it. I talk loud, so it worked out fine. But my mic wasn't connected yesterday on YouTube. So okay, audio's good on TikTok. Hopefully, audio is good over here on YouTube. Okay, perfect. All right, because I was listening to it and I was like, oh, like it just made me cringe a little bit. So, all right, you guys, we are back. We are okay. I am not gonna let whatever happened yesterday, earlier, like a few minutes ago, get to me. We are going to be talking about the sage today. And yeah, no, I didn't know. I was talking to the mic and I was like, I thought that I was really doing something and I was not doing I was accomplishing nothing. Oh, except that I talk loud enough where you could still hear me anyway. But yeah. But yeah, y'all, and I don't know what happened. I guess I just didn't click the mic button. So today we're talking about the sage. That is the inspiration for my outfit today. I got this. This is actually a skirt, like a swimsuit cover up type situation, and I got it from the thrift store. And when I saw it, I thought that it would look really cool as a do rag. Like I just feel like it should be on my head. And so this is how it turned out. So I told my mom that I feel like a nun, especially when I drape it over my shoulder. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Like I said it so you don't have to. I know it's giving Sister Mary Clarence. Is that what was her name on Sister Act? It was Mary Clarence, right? That's who I feel like. That's who I feel like. So well, we're good. We're good. So y'all, let me tell you something that I learned yesterday. Yeah, but what was her name, like her nun name? Audio is great. Oh, hey, Sullivan, man. I forgot you was over here on YouTube too. Yeah. So, hold on. Where was I at? Where was I at? I'm getting ahead of myself. I got a couple of things I want to talk to y'all about before I get into the brand personality. So, I I learned I lost that other thought, but I'll come back to it. So I learned that Spotify is really leaning into their creators. So if y'all have been keeping up with Spotify, then you know that Spotify has been going through this whole like rebranding process, and they have been trying to get out of just being known for music to getting into podcasting, right? Like that was like the first stage of the transition. And now in 2025, they are changing Spotify to Spotify for creators. And so yeah, Sister Mary Clarence. That's who I'm channeling today. And so Big Mary. So their goal is to get more and more creators over to Spotify so that they can grow the platform. And so there's a creator who I love listening to because she gives very good predictions on the creator economy and what direction is going in. And so she was talking about her prediction that long form content will have a bigger comeback than any of us probably anticipated. But like honestly, y'all, not me. I've been feeling like this for a while, and I've been saying it for a while. But the thing about being someone who's forward thinking and like thinks in the future, it is hard to like tell people things and find those people who are willing to like take things on in the beginning. Like it's not easy to attract other trendsetters. It's not, and maybe it's not that it's hard. Maybe it's not that it's hard, but it's not, everybody's not going to do it. I guess that's the biggest thing. I won't say that it's hard, but everybody's not going to do it. And so when I would say, there was a couple of things that I have been saying to people, and I've been saying this since the end of 2023, that the people should look into doing more written content. And I specifically told people about um Substack. And I was saying how Substack is a really good platform for people who want to explore written content, who want to bring in a mix of their podcasts or YouTube videos, and have that be a space where you like rally the troops. Because with Substack, you can have subscriptions, so people can subscribe to your newsletters. You can mix media, so you can have written, you can have photos, you can have video, you can connect your you can connect your podcast to Substack. And so Substack is essentially, the basis of it is that it's a platform for people to build newsletters and write blogs, and that is where they got their start. So like think almost kind of like if Patreon and blogging made a baby. That is what Substack is like at its core. And so they have been growing, especially this year, in their user base, and they are finding a lot of content creators, especially the ones who like to be more thorough and in depth and are looking for something that does not have the same intensity that platforms like TikTok may have. And so, yeah, I was talking about Substack. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And so a lot of people, not a lot, because I think that there's still a lot of people who aren't on there, but I started seeing more and more people talking about it. And I was like, there's something here. If you can figure out how to make Substack work for you, or even some form of like getting more in depth and like diving deeper into topics, then you might be, you might be in a good spot. And so personally, I've posted a few things over there. I got interested in it because I was trying to figure out how to create landing page for this um a landing page for this service that I had. I can't think off the top of my head what it was, but I was selling something. And so instead of doing like a typical landing page, because sometimes like the technical aspects of creating a landing page and like the designs and creating the funnel, all of that stuff, I can do it, but it takes so much time to try to figure out how to connect all the pieces that it ends up frustrating me. And so it takes me so long to create like a typical landing page. And a lot of times for most creators, especially if your career if your brand is really like creator first, most creators are really not skilled at running as a business or operating as a business. Like they know, make the content, be creative, get followers. They're really good at marketing, but the aspect of actually running what you do as a business is not a strong suit for many creators. Hey, big sis. And so the yeah, I agree. But it doesn't change the fact that that's not the skills that a lot of creators have. Like that's like a really big gap in the market. And so even when you there we look at Visa just created a category where content creators are now being recognized as businesses, and so they can now function and operate more in line with what they are, which is, media companies. And it's like a really big step in the like the business world, because even when you look at the list of industries, content creation is not recognized as an industry. You literally have to figure out what's the closest thing to it in order to qualify. So there's a lot of things that are moving, and a lot of things that are happening that are making it so that you can now operate and function as a business, but there is still a lot of work to do to not only make it so that creators can operate and function as a business, but also so that they have the knowledge and the capabilities to function as a business. And so there on both ends, there's things happening, things changing. And so anyway, my whole obsession these past 2 years has been, how do I help creatives to still be creative and have that essence of who they are as a creator, because that's what we bring that's unique to the marketplace. That is what makes us an asset. That is what makes us innovators. That is what makes us solutionaries. Like that is what makes us special, and that we don't think within the parameters of this to the typical business world. Like that's one of our superpowers. But where we are lacking is in more of the technical things and the things that would allow us to operate in a more sustainable manner, like literally doing things that allow us to actually function, have some stability, have some longevity in what we do, and ultimately not to become the starving artist stereotype that we can fall into, like that trope that we can fall into. So my goal has been, how do I take what I know from the creative space and what I know is a need, and what I know are our strengths, and then how do I bring that and couple that with the technical things, the business things that allow us to not only do what we love, but to do it long term. And so I was just experimenting with different concepts. And so sales pages was one of those things. Like I hate them. I hate sales pages. I hate the funnels. I hate trying to like think in that way, and but also still be creative. Sometimes even just looking at the templates, I'm like, boo to all of this. Like it just is too complicated, and I don't think that it needs to be that complicated. And so I was experimenting with the idea of using Substack or a blog post as a sales page, and not doing the typical sales page. Because what I was able to do when I wrote it is that I was able to use a platform that naturally pushes traffic. That's one of the things, that's one of the assets to using a platform like Substack, is that they are pushing content for you as well, because it's still like technically social media, even though it's in a different format than, the typical video, TikTok, YouTube situation. And so I knew that that was going to be a benefit. So I can write this entire page of copy, and even if I don't promote it, the platform is promoting it for me. So eyes are getting to this. I can tell a full story with pictures, with quote blocks, with words, with links to different things. And yes, yeah. And after this, I think you're going to really want to lean into Substack. And so I started to see the appeal and the benefit in just like getting my thoughts out and writing it in a way that is literally how I talk, how I think, and also in a way where I know that the people who I'm attracting would find it appealing too. So I created my landing page using a Substack post. And what I saw, I don't have the numbers with me right now, but what I do remember is that it ended up getting, I only promoted it maybe 2 or 3 times, but it got more clicks and views than like me just like posting and talking about it on TikTok or talking about it on live. And that meant that not only was the copy good, but the platform itself was pushing it for me so that I didn't have to consistently like post and talk about it and show up and be on live. Like there was a sense of ease in it, and it wasn't complicated, it wasn't fussy. And so I really love that. And when I saw the potential in it, that made me really say, oh, I think that more people should lean into something like this, because not only can you like get your thoughts out and put them in a way where it doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be, I mean, you don't want to have a bunch of grammatical errors, but you can just talk how you talk, tell the story how you need to tell the story, and you can nurture people and sell all in one place. And as I'm talking about this, I feel like I want to challenge myself to do another one. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do another one. I'm gonna do another landing page, and we're gonna experiment with it and see what happens. Because I just feel like if people can lean into it and challenge themselves to do something outside of what we've been doing for the past 2 3 years, especially with short form video, that you'll find yourself not only ahead of the curve, but you might potentially be opening yourself up to, new people finding you, new community members. You can break out of like almost like the rut that you might feel like you're in. And so anyway, all of this started, this whole line of thinking, and me talking about Substack. It was because I was listening to a prediction where platforms like Substack, platforms like Spotify, and as they make their transition to Spotify for creators, is going to be a big opportunity for people who need to create longer content, like long form content that allows you to just flesh out your thoughts, to tell stories, to nurture people, to give them a space where they don't have to continuously scroll, but they can just sit and listen and learn or laugh or be entertained or whatever. And the reward in that is not only are you building a community, but now you can tell people about the things that you have, that they would now, because they know you, be more inclined to purchase and buy. And even outside of the nurturing piece and it making selling more natural and less like hectic, because that's what it feels like with short form content right now. It feels very hectic and urgent and go go go, now, get, buy. Not having that constant like barrage of ads and selling, but also the platform itself, Spotify, is looking to rival YouTube in terms of how they pay creators. And so the number that they showed, like a figure, just a concept. I don't put too much stock into payouts from platforms. So I'm always going to be cautious on that. So I'm not like, I'm not caping for them just yet, because I don't know. That's my disclaimer. But from what they share in the figures, let's say that you get I think it's like 1.2 or 1.4 million views, which if you think about some of the creators who make consistently good content, who gets a nice amount of views, right? That 1.2 million cumulative is not as big of a number as it sounds. So the 1.4 million views would equal $24,000. And when you look at the views for a platform like TikTok, and the payout that people are getting, I mean, that might get them a couple $100 depending on how much their revenue is per minute. Then they might be able to get like in the thousands, but nowhere near $24,000. Like you're just not seeing those kind of numbers when it comes to payouts for a platform. And so thinking about the value in that, and then also how much easier it is to accumulate those minutes with longer content. So I could get I feel like 1,000, no, not even I feel. 1,000 views is more valuable with an hour long video than it is for a bunch of short form videos, like a 3 second, I mean, not three, but maybe 15-second, 30-second video, 1,000 views. It is not even on the same level as it would for an hour long video. And if y'all think about it, because this is how my mind works, when I look at views on TikTok, 1,000 views doesn't even feel like a lot. It doesn't. And even if I've been riding the 200, 300 view wave, I get 1,000, it still feels like nothing to me. But if I got 1,000 views on this video that I'm doing right now on this live stream on YouTube, that instantly means so much more, because not only is it the views, but then I got the watch time, and the watch time is where you get the money. So just think about how, hey Lloyd, yeah, we have 671. So just think about how much more you can get, and how much more value you're going to be seeing when you invest in this longer content that is going not only going to help you to get, even if you get a similar amount of views, the 300 views that I get on a TikTok doesn't mean as much as a 300 that I would get on a video on YouTube. And so I'm sitting here and I'm like kind of processing this and thinking about it. And I'm like, man, that makes so much sense. And so my line of thinking, and this is like giving y'all a little peek into what my next experiment is going to be. My thinking is that if I invested more time into my YouTube videos and my turning my YouTube videos into podcast episodes, I upload those podcast episodes to Spotify. I integrate that Spotify with my Substack. Now, not only am I getting the views and the plays from Spotify, YouTube, but then I also am building a membership for through Substack. And so whether I decide to keep that free or turn that into a membership, I'm now creating different streams of revenue, or different ways to I guess streams is the right word. Different streams of revenue with ideally one piece of content at a time. I can sit down, I can talk for an hour and a half easily. I've shown that I can talk for an hour and a half very easily. And I do that even if that was just once a week. That would be so valuable for me, and it would allow me to be less involved and have to do as much work when it comes to growing my audience, showing up, sharing content. It makes it a little bit easier. So all of that to say that the fact that I'm having so many challenges going live on TikTok, is just like, count your days, okay? Count your days, because yeah, you're not just going to keep making this difficult. I don't enjoy the fight. I don't have anything to prove to you. I don't want it to be a tussle and a struggle every time, because ultimately that just gets in the way of my creation. And it's already a challenge enough just to create the content. I don't need any extra obstacles. So that's just where my head is at. That's what I'm thinking about. I haven't came up with a like solid strategy yet, but those are the platforms that I'm thinking of investing more of my time in, and that's kind of the flow that I'm thinking about using. So hey, Trouble. So when I get that solid, I'll let y'all know, but I don't know how much of it I'll share. My thinking is that I want to try it first, and then I will share with you what I'm doing and what the results are. Okay. So yeah, y'all look into it. If you don't know about Substack, now you need to be looking into Substack. seriously because I told y'all in 2023 to look into writing and look into Substack. I told y'all that you still got time, but now you have an option to incorporate mixed media into your post so that if you're really just not much of a writer, you still have options. So, and as I'm talking now, I'm thinking about so many different ideas. Ooh, it's making me excited. Okay, but I'll share more as I get more firm on the ideas. All right. So, y'all, let's get into this brand personality. Before we talk about it, though, I'm gonna drink some water because that was a lot. Okay. So, today we are talking about the sage. All right. The sage brand personality. This is the 11th personality. So, we only have one more personality to go. And that's the citizen. But today is all about the sage. So, the sage is motivated by independence, cognitive fulfillment, and truth. This archetype has a foundational identity to the belief that thinking is what defines the human experience. The sage responds well to expert opinion, but is inherently a pragmatic skeptic. Possessing a high need for autonomy, the sage values learning for its own sake because it allows for detachment from the masses and the capacity to remain objective. So, the sage, y'all, the sage is I'm really digging the sage. So let's talk a little bit more. So if you're driven by a quest for knowledge, a desire to understand the world deeply, and a passion for sharing insights, you might just embody the sage personality. This is more than just accumulating information. It's about seeking truth, providing guidance, and enlightening others. So let's get into the strengths and the challenges and the enlightening essence of being a sage and how you can present this with your brand. So, let's get into the strengths of the sage. The sage is known for wisdom and knowledge. You have a deep understanding of complex subjects and a thirst for learning. You are also known for your insight and perception, the ability to see beyond the surface and grasp underlying truths. That's a good one. That's a good one. Uh, yeah. You're known for your clarity and articulation, communicating ideas clearly and effectively. You are known for your curiosity and open mindedness, constantly seeking new information and perspectives. And you are also known for your guidance and your mentorship, providing valuable advice and support to others. So, as the sage, you are embracing your strengths by recognizing your natural ability to enlighten and guide. You're not just a scholar, but you are a beacon of wisdom, illuminating the path for others. So, y'all, this is one of those things that with the sage, one of my favorite things about the sage is their ability to see beyond the surface. And if you are a sage, you have probably experienced some pushback from people, or even just like you've experienced the backlash of being able to see what people aren't really saying, and being able to take a peek, or even just like reveal what is not being seen or not being said. And especially if you are a mentor as a sage, then you have had plenty of experiences where your understanding of people, that perception, that ability, that insight that you have can end up being a point of contention in relationships. But your insight and perception is so valuable, and it is so important, and it is truly a gift. And if you are finding that you are encountering people who are consistently refusing it or consistently resisting it, and they're not seeing a break in that, you're not seeing a release in that, then I want to encourage you to move around. because that may not be your person, or it may not be that time to work with them, because the people who are meant to be in that space and receive that gift from you are going to accept what you say. They're going to take it in. They're going to, meditate on it, reflect on it, and ultimately take action with what they can with what you shared. So be encouraged by all of the things that you bring and all that you are able to help people to do, because wisdom, knowledge, insight, that open-mindedness is something that I feel a lot of sages, if they haven't really accepted that role or that place, that might be where they're struggling with, being able to really exhibit that. But we need your wisdom. We need your insight. We need your knowledge, because, as you can tell, is severely lacking in our society. So, with every strength of these personalities, we have our challenges. So, let's talk about some of the challenges that you may face as the sage. One of the biggest ones is overthinking, getting lost in analysis and missing the bigger picture. You may also struggle with detachment, being perceived as distant or unapproachable. You may struggle with perfectionism, striving for flawless understanding and communication. You also may struggle with impatience and a frustration when others don't grasp your concepts as quickly. And then you also may struggle with isolation, preferring solitude over social interaction, leading to a lack of connection. And honestly, there is a difference between isolation and solitude. And I don't think if it leads to you being isolated, I don't think that it's because of your preference over solitude. I believe that more often than not, it is your fear of people not being willing or able to receive it, or maybe your struggle with being able to connect with people in a meaningful way, or in a way where they're not constantly like intimidated by you or scared of you or afraid of what you're going to say. Like people who understand how you are and can embrace the strengths that you have, while also acknowledging that you're human. Like you may struggle with showing that side of yourself, showing that you are human, showing that you have faults, that you have struggles. And so, one thing that I will say to combat that as the sage is to share more of where your wisdom came from. Okay. Share more of where your wisdom came from. Like whatever lessons you've learned in life, whatever things that you have amassed over time, don't just tell people the wisdom, give them the story behind the wisdom, give them the why behind the wisdom, because then not only are you still presenting your gift of wisdom and knowledge, but now you're also being able to connect with people, because now they can empathize with your story. They can see yourselves in their story, and that instantly makes you human. It makes you relatable. It makes people able to connect with you. And that is how you're going to be able to build that community and those relationships where people still respect and honor your gifts, but they're not treating you like some deity or some idol. At this point, I'm a mixture of the personalities, but this one is hitting me hard. Yeah. This one was challenging me too, because I really do value wisdom and knowledge. Literally, like my name means wisdom. So I was like, am I a sage? And I think sometimes, especially like there are points in time, like somewhere around like 2020, I think that I was definitely trying to lean into the sage personality, without knowing it, because I didn't know it at the time. But I was like presenting myself as more of a sage. But what I found is that it didn't it didn't fit all the way, because I felt like I was not showing all of me. And I was kind of like presenting like this curated image. And so there's a part of me that wonders if there are things in the personality types that I value, but doesn't necessarily mean that it's my personality, my brand personality. So I don't know. I'm still wrestling with that because I can definitely see some correlations even in you, Latara. I think about you when I think about the guidance and the mentorship, wisdom and the knowledge. And I wonder if some of them are, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm still wrestling with that. But that's a very good point. So man, it's bothering me because I want to know the answer now, but let me sit with it. But all I'm gonna say right now is that I feel you. I feel you. And you're as I talk about it some more, you're probably gonna definitely be like, yep, 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 yep. Okay. So when you recognize and mitigate these challenges as the sage, it can help you to maintain your clarity and wisdom while fostering those meaningful connections. So y'all, like for real, uh, for real, there's another challenge that the sage has, and it goes hand in hand with the overthinking and the perfectionism, and that is the inability to take action. So you can tend to take that thirst for knowledge, that curiosity, and it can become a form of escape, and it becomes almost like an no, not almost, Jada. It becomes an excuse for why you don't take action on things. And it can sometimes be a challenge, because you really have to lean on wisdom, from Holy Spirit, wisdom from others who may be ahead in the area that you're pursuing, because there are going to be times where you really are just escaping and overthinking things, and then there can also be times where it is not the right time, and that's where that impatience comes in, because it's not just an impatience with others, to grasp a concept, but it can be an impatience with yourself, because you may be getting this insight and this revelation, and you're getting all this great information, and you're learning so many new things, that just because you have the knowledge of it doesn't mean that it is the moment for you to implement it. So knowing when to take action, knowing what is the right time to do things, knowing when you just know this information right now, but maybe it's not for you, like really understanding how to implement it can be a challenge even for yourself. And so having the patience and the grace with yourself will also help you to have that same patience and grace with others. So keep those things in mind, because those are all the traits of the sage. Okay. All right. So let's get into the how to embody the boundless curiosity and the insight of the sage. So, at the heart of the sage archetype is a burning passion for understanding and a desire to uncover the truth. These individuals don't just see the world as it is, they dig deeper, seeking the underlying principles that govern it. With a highly inquisitive nature, Sage often finds themselves in roles where their insight can shine and make a significant impact on those around them. If you are a sage, you are characterized by your ability to provide clarity and understanding. Your dedication to wisdom and guidance makes you invaluable leaders in fields that prioritize knowledge, education, and mentorship. You possess a unique ability to make complex ideas accessible, and you ensure that the actions are not just informative but deeply enlightening. The things that you suggest to people don't just give them insight into what to do, but it's almost like a breakthrough, into uh, a breakthrough into something that you didn't even realize, maybe you didn't even realize that they needed. Like, man, there's so many examples in my life personally where something so small, some small action, some small step, what it felt like it just released something in me. And that is the characteristic and the strength of the sage, of what you're able to do, even with what is seemingly, simple. Just do this. This revelation is like, oh my gosh, do you just know what that did for me? Like, do you know what this released for me? So that is what you bring as a sage. So your brand as a sage is synonymous with wisdom, insight, and clarity. You possess an intuitive grasp on what drives people to seek knowledge and often provide solutions that enlighten and educate. Your archetype thrives on creating environments where people feel encouraged to learn and grow, and making it a cornerstone in industries like education, consulting, and publishing, which definitely makes sense because readers, authors alike are are known for their love of learning and reading and escaping at times into their worlds of knowledge and the worlds of even fantasy, just being able to be immersed in things that give you insight and clarity. So yes, so let's get into some of the examples of the sage brand. So brands like National Geographic, and TED Talks, epitomize the sage brand personality. They have not only introduced content that educates and inspires, but they've maintained a reputation for depth and reliability. So, The Economist, which I think is like a newspaper, it's like a paper, like a magazine, I think. If y'all know for sure, put it in the comments. Another personal brand that represents the sage is Oprah. Not only is Oprah kind of looked at like she has like a mother figure to her, and the insight and the wisdom that not only she brings, but the curiosity and others, and giving them a platform to not only share what they know, but to be introduced to new audiences. Those are characteristics of the sage. And so what's cool about the way that Oprah represents it is that it's not just about what she knows. It's not just about her wisdom. It is about amassing wisdom. Her natural curiosity in others gives them a platform to not only allow her to learn, but allow the people who are listening to learn and grow as well. So I so yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that because some of the people that she has given a platform to, I'm not a fan, but we're not going to talk about my personal preferences right now. She definitely represents the sage personality. So, as a sage, these brands deeply understand their audience's need for knowledge and clarity, and they ensure that each interaction feels enlightening and informative. So what are y'all thinking so far? Can y'all think of any other sage personalities? There's another one that I can think of that's a fictional character is Dumbledore from Harry Potter. I think about this like when I think about a sage, I think about Dumbledore or even Gandalf from Lord of the Rings. Um who else? Who else is a fictional character? Uh Man, off the top of my head, I can't think of one right now, but those are 2 other ones that instantly come to mind. Like, the people who are typically, like, hungry to learn, just wanna know more, they just naturally have so much insight and wisdom. They are seen as mentors and guides. Those are the sage brand personality. So, if anybody comes to mind where that's what they embody, then they just might be the sage. So, on your journey, the journey that you want to take your audience on as the sage is one that is filled with a long lasting relationship filled with insightful relationships. You consistently demonstrate wisdom and clarity, and you create a shared experience that feels personal and educational. Your ongoing dedication is not just about offering products or services, but about fostering a sense of understanding and enlightenment. So those are like your cornerstones: enlightenment, understanding, knowledge, curiosity, open-mindedness. Those are the things that you really gravitate towards, and like kind of like it's not even like you have to nail it in. It's just naturally like what you always lean towards. So, let's talk a little bit more about the challenges that you may face as the sage. So, the sage definitely is not without its challenges. These brands often struggle with balancing their quest for knowledge with the need for connection and relatability. Okay, and so earlier I gave y'all a I mean surefire way to combat that challenge, and that is been with your stories, with your vulnerability, and your willingness to um be real with people and allow them to see your human side so that they can empathize with that and connect to it. Your journey as a sage is often fraught with risks of overthinking, detachment, and the emotional toll of constantly seeking perfection. And that is something that you yourself may you yourself may be responsible for. The perfectionism is, in part on you, but also it can be a projection of people onto you because of how they view you and how they see you. And again, going back to what I said, like I really want the sage to lean into the feelings, the stories, the who you are. Lean into who you are and just be a human being, just talking and sharing yourself, and watch how more willing people are going to be to not only accept what you say, but just accept you as who you are, imperfections and all right? And I think that as a sage, that's probably something that you have heard plenty of times before. But what I want to encourage you to do is not to not to like intellectualize it. Like don't make it don't make it so serious. Like don't make it so clinical. Just when you see a moment where something that happened in your life might encourage somebody, or it might help them not to feel so bad about themselves, just share it. Like share those moments, share those stories, because those little things are like the spontaneous connections, the spontaneous moments that are going to help you to build those connections with people. So, speaking of connections, let's talk about how to connect with your customers as the Sage. So, the Sage brand attracts people who value wisdom. Hi, I am definitely one of your people. Insight, and clarity. Your customers are buying into a relationship of enlightenment and growth. So, by constantly demonstrating knowledge and guidance, not constantly, consistently demonstrating knowledge and guidance, the Sage brand creates a loyal following that appreciates their commitment to understanding and education. And you're going to really build that following when people are able to see you being you, because you are amazing. You are incredible. And everything that you have endured in your life, everything that you may not be proud of, we see it as an opportunity to learn. We see it as an opportunity to grow. And ultimately, we see it as a way to connect with you and for you to become, endearing to us. Hey, friend. So, that's how you're going to connect with your people. So, When it comes to the positioning, we're going to shift a little bit to how to position your brand as the sage. You want to adopt a clear and insightful approach with a focus on education and enlightenment. Your offerings are typically set at a premium price, okay, premium price, emphasizing quality and depth. Those are the things that are going to sell whatever you do for you. The fact that you are not only committed to the quality of it, but that you're not just a surface level person. You dig deep, you go in depth, you give detail, you give insight and clarity, and people walk away from your services, or they take from what your products offer. They get that depth and that understanding, and that those revelation and breakthroughs that they are looking for. Your let's see, your design and marketing is often crafted to convey wisdom and clarity, and you use sophisticated imagery, and you articulate your messaging sophisticated as well to reinforce that enlightening ethos. So whatever it is that you choose to use as your imagery, whatever you choose to use in your content, and your other marketing materials, even the way that you dress yourself, it has a sophistication to it, and there's a sense of enlightenment, or people feel that enlightenment from what you convey. So, some of the colors that the Sage brand will often lean towards are the ones that represent calmness and intellect. So, these colors are blues, greens, and neutrals that evoke a sense of wisdom and tranquility. So, I have my aunt, she has a spa that is definitely a part of the Sage brand personality. I think her colors are like a sage green, which makes sense. The sage green, and then I think that there are some hints of like a soft blue in there. And then she uses a lot of browns as well, brown, tan, just very like soft, relaxing, tranquil colors. And so those that's the feeling that I get from just looking at the marketing and the branding for her brand. So, I mean, for her spa. So these colors are used to create a visual identity that feels thoughtful and insightful. Okay. So let's get into the values. At the heart of every sage is the desire for truth and understanding. Truth and understanding, that is always going to come back to those. Your creations are an extension of your commitment to uncovering knowledge and sharing it, imbuing your work with a sense of wisdom and clarity. So, here is how the sage makes their community feel. You make them feel enlightened and informed with a focus on understanding, okay? So not just they got it, but no, like this resonates with me. This is this deep. This shifted something in me. You make them feel inspired and curious, eager to learn and grow. You make them feel secure and guided, knowing they have access to valuable insights. You also make them feel thoughtful and reflective, appreciating the depth of knowledge. Your community, when they encounter you, when they work with you, when they purchase from you, what you give them is not just for the moment. Like what you give is not just for that time. It's something that people are going to be able to refer to and reflect on years past, decades past. Like it literally like leaves like a ripple, and it is one of those things. Like, y'all ever heard a song where, yeah, no, I'll say a song for now. But you ever heard a song where like you listen to the song the first time and you're like, "Oh, okay, this is a good beat, the melody, I'm feeling the melody." And you listen to the song, but then you can go back to that song, or even like albums. Like that's how you know you really got a good album, when it's an album that you continuously go back to and you learn something new about it. You get something different out of it. Like, I didn't realize the lyrics said this, and not in the way where like some of these songs that we were singing as kids and we realized what the lyrics meant. Not in that way. Because it was a lot of stuff I should not have been singing. But anyway, but in a way where it gives you something new. It gives you something different. You're inspired in a different way, or it moves you in a different way, or it just hits you a little different, or you realize a different instrument that you didn't notice before. That's the type of effect that you have on your community. And so when it comes to making connections with your people, it is crucial for you to show genuine curiosity and insight. It's also important for you to provide consistent wisdom and guidance. And then it's also important for you to communicate clearly and thoughtfully, making individuals feel informed and valued. You have a unique ability to not only give people something that has such a lasting impact on them, but you're also able to do it in a way where the intentionality with your words and the way that you know how to communicate that message in a way where it feels like you kind of like hit a spot that most people can't get to. That's a really important gift that you have as the sage. So own it, lean into it. And if you are ever creating content in a place where it feels like that's not valued, then I would encourage you to move around. Okay. When I say move around, that means find a place where that can thrive, where that is appreciated, and where that is a part of the culture of that platform, because that is where you're going to see the most success. Not trying to make it fit the mold of the go, 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 fast, 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 now, 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 surface level type stuff that has become so common now when it comes to just the world in general. So, all right, let's get into some of the storytelling ideas. So, I'm going to share a few of them with y'all today. But if you want to get all the storytelling ideas, I will encourage you to go to the link in my description box. That is going to take you to the blog post that has all the information that I'm giving you right now, plus all the storytelling ideas, so that you know how to speak in your content, you know how to speak when you are out and about, you know how to communicate your message in a way that really resonates with the Sage brand personality. So, one of the ones that you can do is share how your platform helps someone learn or gain critical knowledge and skills, leading to a significant breakthrough. Okay. Remember, I was saying that breakthrough piece, the ability that you have to communicate things and share knowledge that leads to breakthrough in people. Share those moments. Those are gold for the sage. Another thing that you can share is how your advice guided a client through a complex decision, resulting in a successful outcome. So, your ability to navigate complex ideas speaks to the way that you are able to go in depth with things, which is what a lot of people need at times when a solution is not as surface level as it may seem. Like they may come to you with a problem that seems like it's simple, but when you speak to them, that insight that you have, that perception that you have to go deeper allows them to see, oh, it's not just as simple as one, two, three. We still got four, five, six, seven, eight that's happening, that's affecting this. So you're able to help them to navigate that. So lean into telling those stories as well. Another thing that you can share is how your webinars or your workshops empower participants to make informed decisions and achieve their goals. And so this leans more into the practical side of things and how much knowledge that you have in certain areas, and you having that knowledge and sharing it empowers people to then make more informed decisions, to make better decisions, and you have the ability to help them to navigate that, especially with the wisdom and the knowledge that you have. So those are just a few. There are about three more that you can use in your storytelling that will help you to really represent this brand personality. So, some of the key phrases and words that embody the sage that you can lean into and adopt them, tweak them, make them your own. This is not what you have to say verbatim, but it should have this same type of energy. So, together we seek the truth, bringing clarity to every moment. Knowledge is power, keeping things insightful and educational, finding wisdom in every situation, and spreading enlightenment and understanding. Okay. So, my sages, my insightful, wise, um, intellectual sages, I want you to remember that your quest for knowledge, to balance your quest for knowledge with moments of connection and empathy. Okay. Ooh, connection and empathy. That is going to be critical for you to have. Okay. Each act of enlightenment is a testament to your boundless curiosity and wisdom. Keep seeking, keep guiding, and watch as you create a world of understanding and growth with every step. Okay? This is a good one. This is a good one. I keep thinking about people when I do each of these. And so I'm thinking about the sages that I have encountered, and how valuable and impactful they've been in my life. So y'all are doing it. Y'all are doing it. All right. Be encouraged. So, we just got done talking about the sage, which is the fundamental brand personality. And you may be listening to this and thinking, I can relate to some of this, but maybe not all of it. Then you might be one of the sage's cousins. Okay. So, we are going to talk about the different brand personalities that are within the sage brand family. All right. The first cousin coming to the reunion is the detective. Your strengths as a detective are your ability to research, bridge connections, and uncover what is hidden, tenacity, and instinct. Your challenges may be dishonorable use of information, selfish personal motives, snooping, and a tendency to blame others. The detective seeks answers to the mysteries of why people do what they do. While deeply intuitive, knowing is not enough for the detective. Empirical evidence must be found. That is the sage. Ooh, hold on for a minute, y'all. The bus is here. I gotta start doing these earlier. Hold on. Okay. We're good. Pop is on pickup duty today. Okay. So we just got done talking about the detective. Now we're going to talk about the next cousin, which is the translator. The translator skills are the skill as an intuitive communicator. They have the ability to make unexpected connections to reveal meaning. They have the gift of inference, seeing patterns, tracking symbols, and a proficiency at interpreting and mediating. Some of the challenges of the translator are the ego's interference with real meaning, temptation to force meaning before it's time, and a lack of accountability. Mm, that's an interesting one. Okay. The translator archetype can be described as the messenger of meaning. Motivated by a fascination with how people create meaningful lives for themselves through communication and language, the translator taps into meanings that are universal to the human race. The translator may have a highly developed need for fairness and integrity, high intellect, cognitive discernment, and a strong intuitive capacity are attributes of this archetype. The next cousin coming to the reunion is the mentor, which makes sense for the sage. The strengths of the mentor are an ability to pass on wisdom and support others toward reaching their highest potentials, good listening skills, objectivity, accountability and presence, excellent judge of character. Some of the challenges of the mentor: a tendency to become controlling or prescriptive if attached to outcomes, susceptibility to burnout from supporting others if not balanced with support of self. The mentor is a teacher in whom trust can be placed. With a great curiosity about what makes people tick, gratification is found by supporting others' empowerment. Becoming a partner toward the realization of higher order goals, the mentor is motivated by a desire to be a rising tide that lifts all boats and to share wisdom for the benefit of all. That's the mentor. The last cousin coming to the reunion is shaman. The strengths of the shaman are the power to see and tell the truth, spiritual nature that is tied to neither religion nor dogma, sensitivity to nature and the cycles of life, ability to straddle worlds as an intermediary or messenger. The challenges: self importance and aggrandizement of gifts, manipulation, and false sense of power. The shaman's overarching desire is to be of service to humanity, able to access altered states of consciousness, perspective, and seeing. The shaman is a mystical and experiential teacher motivated by the single minded dedication to the path of enlightenment, no matter what the cost. As a medium between the visible and invisible worlds, the shaman finds meaning and in facilitating transformation. All right. So that is all for the sage is the fundamental brand personality. The cousins of the sage are the detective, the translator, the mentor, and the shaman. So I'll be interested to hear who feels like they are in the sage family or at least one of the cousins. I told y'all in the beginning that I definitely see a lot of myself in the sage. But if I had to pick one, I don't think that I would be full blown sage. I feel like I would be closer to the translator. Do you think that you're the sage, the fundamental, Latara? Because I could definitely see that. I can definitely see that. I also see a lot of you in the mentor. So it could be one of the cousins. But the intuitive communication, um, gift of inference, seeing patterns, um, interpreting and mediating. Those are things that I actually, yes, Bookie.
I have good charm, but I accidentally kicked something.
Okay, can we talk about it later? Thank you. The interpreting and the mediating. And then here's this is me being real with y'all. Okay, the challenge that I feel would make me relate closest to the translator is the lack of accountability. Because it is for people who don't know me, they see me a certain way, and so I can get away with not having accountability on things because I can present it where I look like I got it all together. Oh, I just told on myself. But yeah, that lack of accountability. When I read that, I was like, "Ooh." I'm always going to tie the fundamental in. So, yep, the fundamental sage, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. I can definitely see that. That's interesting. Wait, so okay, what were the brand personalities that you resonated with the most? I'm trying to remember which ones we said because I know we mentioned something from the caregiver, but it wasn't the caregiver. It was something else. It was one of the cousins, and then the hero I remember, and the sage. Those are the three that I remember us mentioning. The healer, yeah, yeah, yeah. The healer, the hero, and the sage. If I'm missing one, then let me know. But those are the three that I remember. And you could be all three. You could be all three. The hero and the sage. So that might be your trio. That might be your trio. Was there anyone from the hero that you connected to just like individually? Like was it one of the cousins or was it just the hero, the fundamental hero? There's another thing. Yeah, I off the top of my head, I'll get the cards actually. Why not? We here. Off the top of my head, I don't remember if there was one in particular that I felt like was like, mm. But I do remember saying I don't feel like you are I didn't feel like the caregiver was I didn't feel like you were like the fundamental caregiver. Um, oh, another thing, but while I'm on this thought process, I'm about to get the hero card and then we're gonna see. But one thing that I've been thinking about is I wonder if these brand personalities, I know that they evolve, but I wonder if they evolve in a way where you identify with certain ones at one point in your life and then in another point in your life you relate closer to other ones because there's an aspect to them that I feel like the longer you've lived, and especially if you are one of the people who got older and got wiser, because not everybody does that. But if you're one of the people who got older and got wiser and never stopped being curious about who you are, and just growing and maturing um, internally, not just externally, if you then start to embody brand personalities that weren't necessarily the ones that you would connect with at a younger age. I feel like there's something to it. Um, but for me to know that for sure, I would have to literally follow someone for years and see. So I don't know. Maybe in time I will as I'm more people are finding this and I'm working with more people through these brand personalities. In a few years I would definitely love to see if that is true because that's my theory. I think that I know that you can relate to some of them and not relate to everything in them, and there may be some that you really want to be but you're not there yet. So I just think it's really cool. It's really cool how they work. Okay, I'm bringing up the cards now. So we had the hero, we had the warrior, we had the rescuer, the liberator, hmm, and then the athlete. So the strengths of the hero was, actually, it probably would be easier just to go through the overview. So the hero acts to redeem society, overcoming great odds and service, um, completing extraordinary acts of strength, courage, and goodness, admired by those who appreciate self sacrifice, stamina, and courage required to triumph over adversity, continuous learner, the hero seeks to understand the life force and the fullest expression of self while coping with difficulty, meeting strange fates, facing and shifting challenges. And hey, Mask. Let's see. The warrior demonstrates dedication, honor, and an unwavering sense of ethics and integrity. Strong sense of justice, loyalty, goal oriented, keenly focused on strategy and tactics, guardian of boundaries, teaches assertiveness, how to speak truth, how to meet needs without compromising others, how to fight for a cause bigger than self. The rescuer, driven by the need to help, providing support in dire situations. Rescuer may be involved in health and wellness situations, justice issues, natural and terrorist disasters. Internally, rescue of the self from acts of betrayal. Oh, I don't know. Maybe it is just the fundamental. Liberator, both a voice and a body for the greater common good, a champion for the needy and the impoverished. Fueled by strong convictions of right versus wrong, the need to secure the inalienable rights of others, motivated by a core belief in freedom and equality. Um, Motivated to shatter myths and expose cultural norms that create suffering, inequity, and tyranny. And then the athlete makes first to achieve physical strength, agility, and endurance combined with mental acuity, discipline, and focus. And ethics play a role in attaining the highly trained human body, striving to be higher, faster, stronger, longer, better, relentless pursuit of a goal, a model for challenging conventional wisdom, aspiring for the highest potentials, and achieving visions of perfection and performance for the exploration of power. Fundamental. Yeah. Yeah. I think that, yeah. Well, there you go. There you go. That is so cool, though. I definitely, yeah, that definitely sounds like you. So then those are your three. Tomorrow we're going to talk about the citizen. Oh, thank you for the gifts, Mask. Why? I don't know why a potato, a sweet potato. I appreciate it though. Fundamentally, the hero and the sage. The sage is interesting. Hey, Adrian. The sage is interesting too. Yeah. Fundamentally, the hero and the sage, and then the healer. Yeah. I like that. I like that. Look at that. Discovering our brand personalities. That is I am going to really be excited to see how y'all take this information that I'm sharing with you and how it transforms your brand, how it elevates it, how it makes it more clear, not no, how it makes it more clear and how it makes it more potent. Like that's the word I want to use. Like I feel like it's gonna make it more potent, and it's going to be a breakthrough. I don't. I really was resonating with a lot of the stuff from the sage. One thing that I do want to adopt from them is the breakthrough that people will feel and experience by knowing their brand personalities, being empowered with this understanding and this knowledge of this is who I am, this is what I embody, and this is how I communicate it. Like that's the connection that I want to help people to make. How do I take who I am? How do I take my brand represents and communicate it in a way that attracts the right people? Because there is so much power in being able to take what is in your mind and in your heart and being able to express it in a manner that people can understand. Like that is so exciting to me, and I really want y'all to like take these, rewatch what you need to, go and read the storytelling ideas. um as I figure out what it's going to look like, I will be updating them, and that will be behind a subscription. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't thank you. Sorry, I missed it. How I had to figure out how what it's going to look like, but it's going to be for those who subscribe to it, because I'm going to be adding more and more as I learn how you can embody these and represent them in different ways. So, one thing that I was thinking about, I was playing around with, is what type of emojis would each brand personality use? That was I started playing around with that idea, and that's like a fun thing that I feel will instantly like elevate things and just make it more fun if that's your thing. Some people may not be emoji people, but when I looked it up, one thing that I learned is that a lot of the emojis that I use are more in line with the lover and the jester. They don't even match my brand. So I'm unserious, but I love you. That's basically what it's saying. But yeah, just stuff like that. But I'll be adding in like design elements, like what shapes, what images, what type of backgrounds does each personality use, and so those will all be tools that you will have that will help you to express your brand even more powerfully. So I'll be adding those will I don't know, I don't have a date for when I'm going to start doing that just yet. I kind of want to just leave it open for when the ideas come, then I'll add it, which is another reason why it's going to be subscription based. But I'll when it's set up, I'll let y'all know. So, don't be shocked. Everything that is currently available to everybody, those are still available to everyone who wants it, whether they subscribe or not. So the link for each of them is going to be attached to each brand personality. So it'll take you to yours. And then you can also look around at the other brand personalities as well, so that you can at least know. And if you have more than one and you know what those are, and then you can look at those too. So yeah, you guys, I'm a little sad that tomorrow's gonna be our last one. I can't believe I went through all 12 of these. Like, the idea of doing these brand personality videos was so daunting. Like, it just felt like it was gonna be so much work. And I was right. It is a lot of work. That wasn't a fabrication, but it wasn't hard work. I'll say that. It wasn't hard at all. So I'm just glad that this idea has become something that people are really rocking with. Like, that feels good. So yeah, tomorrow is going to be our last one. We're going to be talking about the citizen. And after tomorrow's, we will have wrapped up all the brand personalities. And I don't know what it will look like to revisit them. But I don't believe that I'll be doing that within this month, unless, something else happens and I'm inspired to do so. So take them in, revisit them, listen to them, learn from them, take your notes, and ask your questions. And if I do find, that's what I'll say. If I do find that there are a lot of questions about them, and y'all are asking me them either on the videos or um in like on the blog posts, if y'all are asking questions about them, then I will answer those questions. So put them out there, whatever comes to mind, and I will answer those. And then that'll be our way of, keeping the brand personalities going. But yeah, tomorrow, I don't know, tomorrow might end up being later. I don't know if I'll be able to do it earlier. Tomorrow's going to be a long day, so it might be like a late night session. But if you're able to make it, then we'll be hanging out on a Saturday night talking about branding. And if you're not able to make it live, then you can just watch the replay. Okay. But that's it. That's all I got for y'all today. I love y'all. Be safe. Have a good rest of your Friday and a great weekend. And I will talk to y'all in the next video. Bye.